Hey everyone, I'm Laura Klein, your organic authority, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making a brown rice pasta with asparagus, shiitake mushrooms, and cheese. It's absolutely delicious. Now, I've never really been into brown rice pasta, but recently I had to go on a limited gluten-free diet. And so I started trying different things, and why not? Why not try the brown rice pasta? And what my husband and I found is it's actually really delicious. And you know what? You don't have that heavy, full feeling. You know, after you eat regular pasta, it kind of feels like you have like a baseball in your stomach or something like that. I don't know. But this brown rice pasta is really delicious. It has a light, nutty flavor, and you don't feel full afterwards. So let's get started. So I've already started boiling my water for the pasta. So I've got about 10 ounces of pasta here. And I'm gonna add it to my salted water, and I'm gonna add, you know, probably about a teaspoon or two of salt to my water. And I'm gonna add my brown rice pasta. And so you just wanna cook your pasta according to the package directions. So this package calls for 6 minutes. Now, I wanna share a tip with you with brown rice pasta. It's really easy to overcook. So you don't wanna overcook it. So since this calls for 6 minutes, I'm gonna actually cook it for 5 minutes. And I like it al dente, and so I'm probably just gonna finish it up at 5 minutes and drain it. So next, we're gonna cook up our asparagus. Again, on this diet, my doctor wanted us to eat only steamed vegetables. So I'm just gonna go ahead and steam these. And I came up with this recipe while on this diet because my husband and I, you know, we needed some new things to eat that were actually delicious and flavorful. Because as you know, I don't eat dull, boring, bland food. So I'm gonna put this in my steamer over here. And I'm gonna just kind of watch that. And I'm gonna steam it until it turns bright green. You don't wanna overcook it because then it starts to turn to mush. And the interesting thing about steaming vegetables, what my doctor said is it helps heal your intestinal flora. So if you have any intestinal issues, you might wanna start adding steamed vegetables to your diet to help heal your stomach. So next we're gonna make our pesto for the pasta. And I like using a mortar and pestle to make pesto, because what happens is if you put it in, say, like a mini food processor, it can burn up the essential oils in the herbs. But you know, if you don't have time to do this, or you don't have one, of course, just use whatever equipment you have. So I've got 1 garlic clove here that I've smashed and I've removed the skin from. And I'm just gonna I'm adding a pinch or 2 of salt here. And I'm just kind of pounding it and smashing it, really kind of to a fine paste here. Next, I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds. And I'm just going to kind of smash and work the pumpkin seeds here to release their flavors and oils. Okay, next I'm gonna add a 1/2 bunch of parsley and a 1/2 bunch of cilantro to my mortar and pestle here. And we're just gonna kind of grind this up and break down the leaves. Now I already ran a knife through my cilantro and parsley just to help break it up. But again, you don't want to overdo it. Now I'm going to add about a 1/2 cup of olive oil here. And this is gonna really kind of help break it down and make it into kind of that pesto paste. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of lemon juice. And add the rest of my olive oil. And now we have a nice pesto. So next I'm gonna check on my asparagus. Okay, so these guys are bright green. I mean, they're really bright green. So what I'm gonna do is just turn them off. They're done cooking. And I can see my timer is coming up on 5 minutes. So we're gonna drain the pasta. Our pasta is done, and so is our asparagus. Next up, we're gonna saute the mushrooms. I'm using 2 tablespoons of my favorite butter and olive oil mixture. And we're just gonna melt this down. Okay, we're just gonna add our shiitake mushrooms. Now, I've already sliced up about 3 kind of medium shiitake mushrooms. You can use 3 or 4 or how many you ever like. And if you can't find shiitakes, I recommend using the brown crimini mushrooms over the white button mushrooms because they just have more flavor. So either way, it's gonna be delicious. So you wanna saute these guys until they're brown and really tender. I'm just gonna season them a little bit so we add another layer of flavor. Okay, so our mushrooms are nice and tender and browned. So I'm gonna deglaze the pan a little bit with just about a tablespoon of white wine vinegar. But if you have white wine, you can actually just substitute that as well, whatever you prefer. Next, I'm gonna add my asparagus. Then our pasta. Now, sometimes I feel like if there's too much pasta, I'll start with a little, and then because I can always add more. And so what we're just really doing now is just bringing it all together. Next, I want to add our fresh homemade pesto. I'm just going to pour all of it in. That looks absolutely delicious. And I'm just gonna toss it together. I'm also going to season it with some salt and pepper to bring out all of the flavors and kind of bind it. And I'm also gonna toss it with some hard goat cheese. Now, I chose hard goat cheese because, again, when we were on this diet, all we could eat was goat cheese, and I found some really amazing goat cheese out there. Now, if you can't find kind of like a hard, almost Parmesan goat cheese, just go ahead and use Parmesan or Reggiano or anything else that you like, because it just adds a really nice layer of flavor to it, and it's, kind of a little bit salty, which is really delicious. So this is done, and let's give it a try. So I'm gonna spoon a little onto my plate here. Okay. And let's try it. See if I can get a shiitake mushroom. Wow. I think shiitakes have got to be one of my favorite mushrooms. And that cheese is absolutely amazing. It just adds like a nice salty, almost like crunchiness to the textures. And that fresh pesto, oh my gosh, so amazing. If you've never made pesto with a mortar and pestle, you've got to try it. All right, you guys, together, you and I can change America's food system. Go out there and vote with your most powerful voting tool, the American dollar, and buy organic and sustainable foods. And if you want to stay in touch, become a fan on our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.